London's prestigious Royal Academy of Arts was home to around 200 works showcasing over 500 years of Pacific art. Oceania, the exhibition, was one of the largest oceanic art shows ever in the United Kingdom. Funded by New Zealand and in partnership with the Kingdom of Tonga and Papua New Guinea, the exhibition marked 250 years since the start of Captain Cook's first voyage to Te Moana Nui a Kiwa. Works from some of New Zealand's highest profile Māori and Pasifika artists, including Yuki Kihara, John Pule, Mata Aho Collective and Lisa Reihana, were on display alongside centuries-old artifacts. Some of the art displayed has been stored away and unseen in European museums for centuries. 24 hours prior to the official blessing of the galleries, Sir Jerry Mateparai, the New Zealand High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, welcomed Māori iwi and Pacific representatives to New Zealand House for a mihi whakatau.
What has been important is that the mahi that's been put together to both coordinate the principal sponsors other than the Royal Academy, but including the Royal Academy. So with Papua New Guinea, the Kingdom of Tonga.
So what we're going to do now is, if you have been asked to take part in a leading role in that procession tomorrow, we, along with the Royal Academy, are now going to go to Green Park and basically do a run through of what's going to happen in the morning.
Prior to opening the galleries, a cultural procession began at Green Park, one of the royal parks of London. Past world-famous hotel The Ritz, down Piccadilly, a main thoroughfare since medieval times, and across St James Street before arriving at the gates of the Royal Academy, where a blessing took place.
It was doubtful about how we would get from Green Park along Piccadilly into the Royal Academy. And Piccadilly, on a Monday morning, is a busy thoroughfare. The procession, however big it is, can move across Piccadilly because we will close the road down for a very short period of time. So tomorrow morning, walk quickly, please.
Founded in 1768, the same year Captain Cook set sail on his first Pacific expedition, 2018 also marks the 250th anniversary of the Royal Academy, where Oceania took centre stage.
I think an exhibition like this, because of the cultural sensitivities of an organisation called the Royal Academy of Arts in London, we went into it very carefully. Borrowing any object from any collection needs to be handled with respect, scholarship, dignity and reciprocal generosity of spirit. It's one of those shows that actually has had a huge amount of thought go into it. But I think it was only in the last 2 years when the New Zealand government really got on board and supported it. And now here we are with some of the most extraordinary objects that I've never seen. And I think that'll be the case for a lot of our visitors.
The exhibition doesn't feature a lot of contemporary work, but it's widely agreed that it plays an important role alongside historical taonga.
The contemporary work is in conversation with that historical work. It's very much a continuation of the kinds of ideas, thinking, values, aesthetics that informed that historical work, and bringing it into the present and to a contemporary audience.
Pasifika interdisciplinary artist Yuki Kihara says the links between Oceania and the UK are much closer than we think.
Although a lot of people in London, might look at Oceania as something that is, far-reaching geographical region that is very far from the UK, but when we actually look at the history of how the crinoline and the corsets have been constructed, is that the boning of the crinoline and the corsets actually came from the whale bones from whales that was hunted from the Pacific. And then so when we actually look at the streets of London back in the 19th century, the streets of London was actually lit by the fat of the whale that was hunted down from the Pacific. The Pacific is actually in London. It's not something that has been far away as what many people would think.
The sound of the conch shell bellows across Green Park the next morning as hundreds gather behind 4 wahine toa who will start the cultural procession. Cameras in public weren't allowed access into the official blessing of the galleries. Outside, onlookers were treated to performances from Ngāti Rānana and groups from Papua New Guinea and the Kingdom of Tonga. With the official gallery blessing complete, dignitaries reflected on the grandeur of the occasion.
Our representation here is about representing all our people at home. So this particular exhibition for us was on 2 levels. One, in terms of how we represent our tikanga well here, and secondly, how we fuse that tikanga with other cultural aspects, and that included obviously those of the Moana-Nui-a-Kiwa of the Pacific, but also the tikanga of the RA.
Each island has its own traditions and its own incantations, but to see them all come together in one flowing river was fantastic. And what was really amazing was that river flowed into the Royal Academy's exhibition. If a unity of thought could ever have been achieved from one side of the world to the other, this was the medium by which it could occur.
The blessing ceremony was incredibly spiritual and emotional ceremony. I don't think that I have had sustained goosebumps like that for the period of time that I did through the whole blessing. And it was an opportunity for us as Pacific to come together as the extended family that we are, to be able to provide a blessing for the works that are in here, but also to connect with them. These were made by our ancestors, for me as a New Zealander, but Samoan Tongan, that means a lot.
I'm really proud to be here, here in London, to actually see some of these significant artifacts, to show our people here in Europe and how rich we were back in 200 to 300 years ago. It's the actually lifting of the spirit of our ancestors that have been asleep for the last 200 years, and now we have woken them.
Inside the exhibition, Lisa Rehana presented her highly acclaimed In Pursuit of Venus, a 23-metre wide panoramic video installation that includes encounters between Polynesians and Europeans, which acknowledge the nuances and complexities of cultural identities and colonisation. Siva in Motion by Yuki Kihara was inspired by the conversations with survivors of the 2009 tsunami, which took the lives of 189 people in American Samoa, Samoa, and Tonga.
What's really interesting when people look at this particular work is that they see a Samoan woman dressed in a Victorian morning dress performing a Samoan dance. For me, the figure of Salome encapsulates this syncretism between, Western technology and indigenous technology. It's a dynamic between the colonized and the colonizer. It's all kind of encapsulated in this one character.
5 portraits from Fiona Partington's acclaimed The Pressure of Sunlight Falling will adorn the walls of the Royal Academy.
This show will help people to understand that these objects have a kind of animist quality, because the people that made them were animists and imbued great power. And they need sustenance and special, they have tapu around them and a lot of different things, which are things that Pākehā or white people here have forgotten, but it's in their histories.
Draping from the ceiling of the Royal Academy is Kiko Moana from the Mata'aho Collective. The collective is made up of Māori artists Irina Baker, Sarah Hudson, Bridget Rewati and Terry Tato. Constructed over 9 months, the 11-metre-long Moana-inspired piece was made by folding, stitching and slashing blue tarpaulin, drawing inspiration from customary Māori sewing techniques. Oceania is not only seen as an art exhibition, but also a chance to connect Europe to the Pacific.
One of the things that the concept, the idea of Oceania wants to evoke is a sense of that bigger global geography of the Pacific that includes our relationships with Europe, those historical relationships, the fact that our treasures, our taonga are in their museums. That connection's already there, so we're trying to kind of make people here more aware of that. The second thing is represented by the painting behind me, really. John Poulet's To All New Arrivals, which is a painting which has all of these vignettes of multitudes of people who are carrying cultural treasures of one kind or another.
It's been extraordinary over the last few days. We've gone from weeks and weeks of planning and talking to exactly what I hoped it would be, this extraordinary coming together of people and colour and energy and people celebrating who we are, and more importantly being able to share that with people here in London and beyond. So it's just been exhausting and wonderful.
I think this is a fantastic initiative on the part of the Royal Academy. I'm absolutely delighted that New Zealand's government has seen it as an opportunity to engage, to showcase New Zealand, its place in the world, but more importantly, its place in Oceania and Oceania's place in the world.
The exhibition also featured Talanoa discussion and debates focusing on the global issues facing the region, such as climate change, security challenges, and sustainable development.
Really important conversations that need to be had about making sure that our stories are valued, but also to provide some context so that we can build that respect and understanding for our region, and hopefully that transfers into an understanding and respect for the challenges that we face as a region as well.
New Zealand is under no illusion about the unprecedented confluence of contemporary issues facing the Pacific and its peoples. This exhibition provides a welcome platform for having conversations about how our friends and partners in the United Kingdom and beyond can be part of this very serious collective effort.
The exhibition opened to rave reviews from the media across the UK, Pacific, and New Zealand. Prestigious media outlets rated Oceania 5 stars as writers were blown away by the rich Pacific history on display. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, attended the opening of Oceania in her first solo outing. Welcomed by Ngāti Rānana Māori Cultural Group, the Duchess spent time with Oceania's curators, artists and descendants linked to the works displayed. Hundreds of images uploaded to social media from inside the Royal Academy shows how popular Oceania has become, with over 100,000 visitors viewing the exhibition.
Having seen this collection, many of the works of which have never been seen in New Zealand, but have been contained in this part of the world, it is surely a most exciting, dramatic portrayal of these far-flung people, now so critical in the Pacific and Oceania region.
Almost 4,000 keen art enthusiasts and supporters from the Pacific have taken advantage of the free entry policy for New Zealand and Pacific Island passport holders. Oceania will open in Paris in March 2019.